Afternoon, friends. I trust that we are all okay this afternoon. We thank God for His grace, we thank Him for His mercy, and we thank Him for the gift of life. This afternoon, we are going to look at one of Seth's descendants, who was Noah. The last time we talked about Enoch, who walked with God for 300 years. Today we are going to look at Noah, and also we are going to look at chapter 6, the time that Noah lived, what happened during that time. We will start from chapter 5 and verse 28. Give us a brief summary about Noah, who his father was, and up to verse 32 it tells us also about Noah's family or Noah's children. Verse 28 says, Lamech lived 182 years and had a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, the one will comfort us concerning our work and the toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord has cursed. After he begot Noah, Lamech lived 595 years and had sons and daughters. So all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So this is a brief history of Noah. His father was Lamech, and we are told that Noah himself had 3 sons who were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And let's just continue to find out what happened. We will read verse 1 of chapter 6. It says that now it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born to them. So we are told that men began to multiply on earth, and we will remember that we have the descendants of Cain that decided to rebel against God, and they went to set up their own city. And we have the descendants of Seth, who chose to call on the name of the Lord. And we know that when Enosh was born, we are told that men began to call on the name of the Lord. And we are told about Enoch as well, that he walked with God for 300 years. And now we're talking about Noah. We are told that he had 3 sons. And we are told that man began to multiply on the face of the earth. And let's find out what happened. Verse 2 says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. We are told that the daughters of of men were born, and the children of God saw the daughters of men, and they took them as wives. So there was this mixing. Those that had chosen to follow God and those that had rejected God, there were intermarriages between them. And verse 3 said, "And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. What this verse tells us is that God wasn't happy with these intermarriages, because you had the children of God marrying the children of men, or the children of man. And you had the light and the darkness mixing. And God wasn't happy with what was happening, because you had a group that had rejected him, that had refused to follow his commandments, and a group that had followed his commandment. And you had this mix, and God wasn't happy about that mix. And as we continue, verse 4 says, there were giants on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men and who were of old, men of renown. We are told that when these intermarriages took place, there were children that were born out of these marriages, and we are told that they were giants. They were men of renown. But what did they do? What did they do after they were born? Did they follow, or did they choose to follow God? Or they still rebelled? Verse 5 says, "Then the Lord saw that the wickedness of men was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart." So we are told that when man began to multiply, we are told that there was wickedness. So these intermarriages brought about wickedness. And the thoughts of man were so evil that whatever they thought was evil, there was nothing else that they were thinking, but they were thinking evil. To them, killing was a very, very, very small thing. Raping was a small thing. Stealing, robbery, you name it, was a small thing. They had no remorse in what they were doing. They just did what they wanted to do. This was the type of society that lived during that time, during the time of Noah. And the children of Noah had to grow up in that environment where there was so much evil, where there was so much bad things that were happening. People were not following God's commandments. People were not obeying the law of God. People were doing their own thing. They refused, they rebelled, they did whatever they wanted. And they were evil continually. And if you think about the time that we are living in, this time that we're talking about, the time of Noah, is a replica of the time that we are living in. There is so much evil in this world. The love of many has grown cold, and we can see it around us. We can see it in our neighborhood. We can see the things that are being done to fellow human beings. You've got drug trafficking, which has destroyed so many societies. You got people trafficking, human trafficking, that has destroyed society, that has separated families, that has destroyed families. You have murders. Some of them are so horrible. People will kill someone, cut the person in pieces, maybe take out body parts, and throw those pieces in a dump or even burn them. You find that children, small children, 8 months, 10 months, get raped by older men. This is the kind of world that we're living in. There is so much stealing, robbery, corruption, and there are so many senseless wars, senseless killings that we see around us. It is because the world has rejected God. They don't want to hear about God. Man has become evil continually. If you tell people that this world can only be fixed by God, they can actually stone you for saying that. They don't want to hear anything to do with God. They can see things are bad. They can see that things need fixing. But they will tell you that they will get fixed. But when will that happen? When will things get fixed? They are not going to get fixed. Things are going to get worse and worse. My appeal to us is that we change our ways. Let's not be part of the problem. Let's not fuel killings. Let's not fuel racism, hatred of other races or other people. Let's learn to love. Let's love God and love our neighbors as we love ourselves. This world needs love. And man cannot produce love. We have failed over these years. And we need a power that is from outside. That is the power of God. The power of God can change the heart. No amount of education can change the heart. We can try and try and try and try. Nothing will change. Things are going to get worse and worse and worse. We need a power from outside us. And that power is the power of God. This afternoon, I recommend the power of God. I recommend God to us. God is the only one that can fix our world. No man can fix things. No one can fix things. No government can fix these things. No amount of money can fix our society. Our society needs God. If only we go back to God, things are going to get fixed. I trust that this video will say something to you. And I trust that God will speak to you so that you see the value of giving your life to Him. Thank you very much.